Hello, everyone. As the Republican National Convention, BARF, concluded, we had more promises from Donald Trump to end the war in Ukraine, and apparently he had a call with Zelensky. So I do have a question about that. As of right now, at this moment, Donald Trump is a private citizen. The last time I checked, I don't think it's legal for a private citizen of the United States to make any kind of deal with any foreign government, regardless of their status with respect to the United States. But, if I have any legal scholars over there in the audience, let me know, because it's my understanding that you're not supposed to do that. And no doubt he's going to be milking the fact that he had a call with Zelensky for, like, I don't know how long, ad nauseum, and say that it was a very good call, a perfect call, blah, freaking blah. The truth of the matter is that very likely Trump has no practical plan of any kind. And in all likelihood, this is nothing more than the same kind of bullshit that he was spewing when he was talking about establishing peace in the Middle East. And Zelensky knows this. I don't know what he told him, but after the attempt to blackmail Zelensky, Zelensky might be a young and inexperienced politician, but he's not that stupid. He has his moments. And I'm sure he remembers this. And I'm sure he is not taking any promises at this time. Because he understands that with this guy, there is no free lunch. So, there is that. Now, this is another good one. So, yesterday we had a really good one from Politico, a really good piece talking about the truth and lies about Ukraine. Taking various, specifically Republican talking points about Ukraine and some Russian talking points about Ukraine, and then discussing what actually is happening there. So this is another piece, and again, if you are into history, particularly into the history of great conflicts, this is definitely worth reading. And I kind of wish my grandfathers were still alive, because they were both former military men. My paternal grandfather specifically was a career military officer, so he would have been very, very interested in this. Oh, by the way, before we move on, somebody angrily commented that Ukraine, doesn't deserve any aid because it is the money laundering capital of the world. That is actually not true. The worst money laundering countries in the world as of right now are Haiti, Chad, and Democratic Republic of Congo. This information is freely available in public domain. Next time you make accusations, maybe, I don't know, look it up first. Anyway, moving on. So these remarks used in the Politico article about Ukraine's strategy were made by General Christopher Cavoli, one of NATO's top generals. And they were made during the Aspen Security Forum. And he talked about some of the things that people already know about, that very likely Ukrainians are using the strategy of lots of small but effective strikes, which they have been very good at. And also, having forced Russian fleet out of the Black Sea, they're now actively pursuing, basically creating some serious shock and awe in Crimea to show Russians that maybe they bit off more than they could chew. Now, another very important thing he did say, and this is something all of us analyzing the war in Ukraine have been saying for years now, is that Ukraine's security is a huge priority. Maybe not to the United States, although in a roundabout way it is, but definitely to Europe. And this is confirmed by Germany, who is the largest donor to Ukraine as of right now in Europe, because nobody wants Russia on their doorstep. Ukraine has been a buffer between Europe and Russia for a long time, including when Russia started invading, when Russia started sending in militants, when Russia interfered in Ukrainian elections, when Russia interfered in Ukrainian economy, and so on and so forth. So Europe definitely owes Ukraine a big one. Of course, this is another reminder, another harsh reality as to why nobody really wants Russia to hack off another state. This, Belarus, and its dictator Lukashenko. Now, I disagree when they call him the last European dictator. Nah, there's also Putin, there's also Orban. So no, he's definitely not the only one, and he's not the last one. But I think America should be watching this guy very, very closely. Not because of Belarus' position in Europe, but also because of his history. 30 years ago, he basically sold out to Russia, he cozied up to Putin, became his favorite lapdog, and sold his country out as one gigantic possible military base to Russia. This is what he did. And how did he do it? He harshly suppressed all resistance. He suppressed freedom of press. He basically closed off his entire country to any kind of influences other than Russia. So he did in Belarus what Yanukovych failed to do in Ukraine, because Ukrainians said enough and is enough. Incidentally, this too puts big doubt on the whole myth that NATO orchestrated the overthrow of government in Ukraine, and people can't believe that Ukrainians did it themselves. Why didn't they also do it in Belarus? Because I am sure if you ask the Baltic states and Poland, who are next door to Belarus, they will tell you they're not comfy being that close to a big ally of Russia. So, if NATO orchestrated the overthrow of pro-Russian government in Ukraine and then sat on their ass watching people getting slaughtered because of it, why didn't they do the same thing in Belarus? How is it Lukashenko has been in power for 30 years? Yeah, because NATO didn't do a damn thing. Ukrainians did it themselves. Just because you don't know how to do a revolution doesn't mean other people don't know that either. This worries me. I am glad that people of Ukraine are trying to make the statement that we're going to go on, we're going to have our culture, we're going to have our festivals, etc., despite the wartime, but I am worried about this. So this is a big music festival, youth-oriented, and it's taking place in Kyiv, and it has been postponed before because of trying to find a good location. They did find one, and they were clearly, aware of the challenges presented by the wartime, because the arena they did find can be evacuated in a few minutes, but we already know Russia doesn't care if it's civilians. They don't care if there are no military targets. So I hope this event goes smoothly and gives people a lot of hope and a lot of good music. And I hope if those fuckers strike, that folks there have time to evacuate. Hang in there, guys.